principles in songwriting, but I found the following things pretty good. Try not to repeat yourself in a verse, but when you get to a chorus, you can repeat yourself as much as you like. That's one good thing. Try not to have too many syllables in words. You know, like the word notwithstanding is not particularly easy to sing. So write too many verses. When I write a song, if I've got I know it's going to have 3 verses, I might write 10 verses, and then I'll squash that down to 5. And rewriting is really important. When you've written a song, rewrite it. When you write a book, you rewrite it 5 or 6 times. So when I say rewrite it, not change the meaning, but just make sure that everything sits and feels singable, because that songs are for singing. And what else? Try and be, dress well. It's very difficult, this top tip. Don't have too many chord changes, unless you want to, of course. Remember that someone's listening to it and that they have to be engaged all the way through. And if you're playing it and there's a little bit where your mind wanders a bit, then that will probably happen when the punters are hearing you. So quite often one of the things I do is when I produce people, we spend 2 or 3 days before going into the studio going through the songs, and it's amazing that there'll be almost what I call dead bars. There'll be 2 bars, and then you'll play this and go, what's happening here? Nothing. So it's edit yourself. Editing is a huge part of songwriting. And if you play other people's songs, you often find they're very simple structures and very direct. So yeah, and I'm struggling now.
That's great. There's loads. Okay.
Well, I tour in several different ways. I tour by myself, which I love, because I just arrive somewhere with my guitar, which I feel like a plumber. I just arrive there and I do my work, and if people enjoy it, and then I leave with some money, and I really like that. It feels like I'm a tradesman. It's my trade. I like that. And then I'll also tour with Eddie, who we saw, and with that can be a bit posher. We get a remarkably lovely rider in the dressing room. You wouldn't. It's what people don't know, and most artists don't know, is that they pay for it. So if you get what else? Yeah, I tour by train. I can drive, but I would recommend touring by train. You meet lots of interesting people, and you can read. When I'm playing with someone else, I get driven about. I enjoy that. Okay. I don't wish to perform every night in terms of being away from home, but of course I love, and it's my work. It's how I sort of feed myself. I will do 2 tours a year of my own in May and November. I don't know why, but I do that. But then Eddie may do a tour, especially if she's got a new record out. I work with a woman called Heidi Talbot. I'm about to tour for 2 months with her. Very wonderful folk singer from Ireland. And I also do tours with Chris Stifford, who was here last year, from Squeeze. So these are things I really enjoy doing. In fact, I don't say yes to everything, but it just so happens that I'm quite busy. The really difficult things about doing music is making sure you have balance in your life. And every now and then I find I'm just working too much, Yes, I collaborate with several people. I always think collaborate sounds as a strange word, because in the Second World War they used to shoot collaborators. So I work with Chris Stifford.
Oh, just pause the bus of the train.
There goes my rider. Am I there? Oh no, this is an interview with my shoulder. Okay. With Chris Stifford, when I collaborate with him, he doesn't write music. He'll just give me lyrics. He's so good at meter, and you can tell. Oh, this part's going to be minor. You can tell this part's going to be the chorus, just from the rhythm of the words. 2 of the singles we've had out were both written just before I was rushing off to get my train. He said, "Oh, I've got this other one," and both of them, they were 5 minutes. And we went back and we honed them, but their basic idea, because they just jump off the page. Sometimes people give me lyrics, say, "Can you turn this into a song?" But the meters, I don't. The meters all over and that gets very hard, and then you start having to move words around. So, but that's an incredibly pleasurable thing. I also do that with a group called Swan Dive in America, in Nashville, and they send me lyrics, and then I just send them back an MP3 with a song. Wonderful thing to do. The other way round, really hard. I have been given pieces of music, and adding words to pieces of music, very rewarding, but that's one of probably the hardest thing to do. I'll also co-write in the room with people. I've got a few friends that I love writing with. Kim Ritchie, American singer-songwriter. I love writing songs with her. She is from Nashville, but she has every word counts. Very simple, but every word counts. And it's quite slow writing with Kim, but it's like making a puzzle, and when it all clicks in, it's wonderful. Very, you know, when you're nearly there, when you find that you've had a sentiment, and you really like the sentiment, you get the words to sing and fall well, and suddenly you're very moved, you know. So it's not, when people say well-crafted songs, sometimes that sounds a bit like they're looking down your nose at it, but the reason that I like to craft songs is because your emotion that you're trying to get the listener to feel is more direct, and all the craft of songwriting. But when I write songs that other people do, I love the feeling of being able to give a song to a singer. They have to totally believe it. So it can't be about me. It can't be all about my feelings, or I feel this, I feel that. You're giving someone something to sing. It's just a sort of skill that's died. Eddie is an amazing song curator and finder, and that used to be really common right until the Beatles. And the Beatles wrote their songs, so everyone thinks, oh, for a band we have to write our own songs. But they were great interpreters, and but I tell you, having someone else sing one of your songs, it never stops being thrilling, ever. That's when I first made up songs, I didn't play an instrument, but I'd made up songs. It's stuff I wanted to do since I was a kid. I remember, like 7, I would write songs. And I wasn't very musical. I had to teach myself all that stuff. But what I would do is I would go around to local groups and just say, "I've written you a song," and just stand in front of them and sing them a song. When I was like 17, I can't believe I did that. Well, as I said, I'm touring with Heidi. I want to make a new record. It's always very difficult making records for myself because I'm busy, so I have to find time. So it's every 3 years really that I have a record out. I'm very slow at writing material for myself. So I don't think it's possible to have a plan more than 6 months ahead doing this, because everything always changes.
Do you like that about it?
Not particularly. When I'm really happiest is if I've planned 6 months ahead quite solidly, and I know what I'm doing, because there's a lot of anxiety in working in music. You know, how are you going to pay the rent? How are you going to, you know, that can really get to you sometimes. Yeah. So I'm trying. Why do I do it? Actually, I don't really know why I do it. You know, because I'm actually I'm not a show off or anything. It's very odd. Quite a lot of performers, like Eddie, for example, she's very shy, and yet she's this wonderful, amazing performer. Like last night, because we were in a very different situation for us, and I thought, well, how's she going to be? And yet she rose to it. And something about performers and songwriters always fascinates me. That quite often they're not show-offs or big I ams, and even I'm not really sure why I do it. I think it may be to do with just trying to leave a little trail behind you, you know, rather than just go through life and leave nothing.